Hi everyone, welcome back to J Tan Realty. Later on, if you like my videos, please like and share and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of my videos. Today I'm going to talk about when should you walk away from buying. A lot of times when you are in the queue of balloting, you might be confused on what type of units or what pricing should you enter for certain units. So today I'm going to share some tips for you so that you can make a clear decision for yourself. So I'm going to use Treasure at Tampines as an example to show you at which point in time it's so critical that you should think of moving to other projects instead of insisting of buying a unit in Treasure at Tampines. So we can see from this article, Treasure only sold out 272 units out of 2,200 units. And throughout the entire sales of Treasure at Tampines, we can see that it started from 1,003 PSF all the way up to close to 1,006 PSF. In total, there was a difference about 247 PSF. I divide this out to phase 1, Phase 2 and Phase 3, and I'm going to further explain on these phases. Phase 1 are usually the phase where developers try to clear their stocks. Alright, so we can see the prices over here are being kept very sensitive in the 1,003 PSF region. So once developers cross certain number of sales, they went into phase 2 where you can see developers are trying to increase and then decrease along the way so that they can test whether buyers can accept a higher PSF. You can see once they increase, the volume starts to drop, and when volume starts to drop, they also decrease the price in order to increase back the buyers in the demand. And when it comes to phase 3, where they more or less secure about 80 to 90% of their sales, developers tend to increase the price straight away so that they can maximize the profits for themselves. If we move into the profits of phase 1 and phase 2 buyers, we can see people who buy in 2019 to 2020 for a 2-bedroom unit, they earn about $200,000 to $300,000. And the sale PSF that we can see over here is in the 1,007 to 1,008 range. Whereas for the phase 3 buyers, we see that what they purchased in was in the 1.1 to 1.2 region, and the PSF that they were entering is 1,007. So we can see just now the buyers entered low in the 800, which is the 1,003 region, and they sold at the 1,007 to 1,008 region. This is where the profits come about for the phase 1 and phase 2 owners. They just have to buy in at the phase 1 price, they just sell at the phase 3 purchase price. This is how they earn these profits. So today when you are in a balloting queue, for example, or you are even considering a post-launch project, this is how you can determine whether you are already in the phase 3. Phase 1 over here, we can see this unit stack 119, which is this stack facing the unblocked view. They bought in the 1,003 range. When it comes to phase 2, which is 2021, about 2 years later, the prices was still being kept very sensitive in the 1,003 region. Same stack facing unblocked view. But once it comes to phase 3, which is in 2022, we can see this stack which is facing the expressway went up to 1,007 PSF. So these two units will in turn create this gap where the phase 1 and 2 buyers can earn the profit just by selling at phase 3 buyers purchase price, which is in the 1.8 million range. Another example that I can show you is this stack, which is stack 10. Stack 10 faces inwards towards the pool, whereas for this stack 11, it faces this bin center. We want to understand for phase 1 and phase 3, what is the difference like? So for phase 1, the buyer that bought in stack 10, they bought in 1,003 PSF, whereas for this phase 3, they bought in 1,005 PSF. In the quantum wise, you can see one is 1.3, the other is 1.6. So naturally, when it comes to the resale market, this stack 10 can actually sell this 1.6 million price and then earn the 300,000 difference. So how do we determine if developers will increase or decrease prices after you buy the project? First, we have to look at the break-even prices of the developers. For Treasure at Tampines, for example, we can see that the break-even price was 1,166 PSF per plot ratio. If we add in a 15% profit margin for the developers, they should be looking at 1,003 to 1,004 PSF in order to gain a certain profit margin. But today, if the developers are pricing to the 1,005 to 1,006 region at the first phase, there is a very high tendency where developers might drop down to 1,003 or even close to their break-even, so that there will be volume, there will be demand coming in. By the developers at the on-start phase 1, they already priced about 1002 to 1003 region. You can see that they can no longer reduce the price further because it will touch their break even. And developers usually what they want to do is to earn profits. If they are in that region where it's 1002, 1003, tendency is they might increase the price further in the future. So in this kind of scenario, we always want to secure the good units in the lower zone, and then we can sell it at the purchase price of the bad units or less desirable units because they will be at a higher PSF in the phase 3. Second, we also want to see how the rate of sales can affect developers' decision on whether to increase or decrease their pricing. Using first example, at this point in time where there is 40 months left to TOP and developers still have 1,300 units left to be sold, you can see from the sales here, the average is about 30 units sold per month. So if we use this rate, 30 units per month, and we multiply by 40 months, this works out to be 1,200 units. So in this case, developers, they will not be able to fully sold out their units by TOP, and this will in turn create fear in developer, and usually the price will be kept sensitive over here. Whereas when we come to this zone where we see there's 30 months left, there's 700 units, the volume reaches about 100 units sold per month. Developers will only take 7 more months in order for them to sell out the project. So with 30 months left, this is the place where developers are more confident. When developers are confident, this is the point in time where we need to be wary. Why? Because developers will tend to increase the prices in order to make profits. So you can see from here, when developers start to increase, they see the demand starts to drop. So we always want to catch places where developers are less confident so that we can buy in at a very sensitive price and still enjoy the phase 3 at the back to help us sell at a better price next time. Of course, there are developers who don't increase price over time. Instead, what they do is they increase on the same day itself. So hot launches, the 3 phases can happen in the same day. From what we see over here, the lower PSF in Pasir Ris 8 was 1,004. The highest reach was 2,000. This works out to be about 600 PSF. In just one day itself, developer increased the price by 600 PSF. Why developers can do this? Because when it comes to hot launches, everybody is in the show flat and everybody is fighting for a unit. Developers will make this chance to make as much profits as possible. We can also see this happen in the recent launches like Emerald of Katong, Trump Park, and Jayden itself. If we use a 2-bedroom for example, we can see for Emerald of Katong, 2-bedroom PSF lowest 2004, highest 2009, a difference of 500 PSF. For Jayden, a 2-bedroom 2003 PSF all the way to 2008 PSF as well. For Trump Park, a 2-bedroom 2003 PSF to about 2008 PSF. All these hot launches that we can see a 500 PSF in just about 1 or 2 months. So Avenue South is another way that developers can incorporate 3 phases into their pricing. For Avenue South, where it's a high-rise project, usually how developers work is they put it into phase 1 over here, phase 2 in the middle, and phase 3 at the very top. We can see for the phase 1 people, this is the end result that they have. They profited about 270,000. These are for the 2-bedroom units. So we can see for their purchase price, they entered in about 1,008 to 2,000 PSF, whereas when they sell, it was in the 2001 to 2003, 2004 PSF zone. If we fast forward to the phase 3 people, they bought in the 2002, 2003 PSF back in 2020. Go back to phase 1, you can see the sale price. The sale PSF 2001, 2002. The purchase price for phase 3 2001, 2002, 2003. So again, we can see phase 1 people, they just sell at the phase 3 people's price. Very similar to what we see in Treasure at Tampines, where phase 1 people just sell at phase 3 people's price. And phase 3, in the end, they can only make about $80,000 to $184,000. So the question is, what are the current projects that are still in the phase 1 and phase 2 zone? And what are the upcoming projects that will likely experience a 3 phase? All these questions, if you have, please reach out to me at 82620902 or go to my Instagram so that you can watch more tips that I give to my buyers. I'll see you in the next one.